Hey, what's up guys, John here. 2025 will be one of the greatest real estate investing opportunities we will ever see inside of our lifetimes. Did you know in 2024, only 4,040,000 homes sold? This is the lowest point since 1995.
Sales of new single-family homes dropped unexpectedly.
Existing home sales coming in at 3.84 million, falling 1% to a 14-year low here.
Housing affordability right now is at the worst in 40 years. In 40 years, 39.5% of gross monthly income goes to housing costs right now in America.
With half of all renters paying more than 30% of their income on rent and utilities.
If you want to afford a home, you should dedicate a third of your gross income to housing costs.
My rent is about 75% of my income.
So you start to look at this affordability crisis supported by rising inflation and higher borrowing costs. As the job market starts to soften, what's going to happen? A major shift is going to unfold inside the housing market. Now, I'm going to show you a house that I just bought, a foreclosure from someone that over-leveraged themselves in 2021 when everything was good. This house, for example, this just sold for $160,000. The house that I bought, this foreclosure, $69,500. You think about that. The land alone is probably worth 40, maybe 50,000. To get the entire property and the land for less than 70 grand, it's unreal. And the market rate on rentals here, about $1,500 to $1,600 every single month.
Let's look at rising rental prices and the struggle to find affordable housing.
So when you start to look at what's happening in the job market, in the economy, affordability is going to be the biggest problem Americans are going to face going forward. Now, if you're an investor and you're paying close attention, you're going to invest where you're going to make money, which I believe is going to be affordable homes throughout America. The very, very, very inexpensive homes in safe suburban communities. Not the inner cities, these big homes that cost a fortune to repair and to maintain. I'm talking about nice, quaint, quiet suburban neighborhoods, 1,000 square foot houses they can buy for $60,000 to $80,000. That's going to be the real opportunity. I've already bought 5 of them, and I just went on a contract to acquire a retail center, a small retail center that has apartments up. It's a 2-bedroom apartment up, and it's about 1,200, maybe 1,300 square feet down below, which we're going to do a full gut renovation in a gentrifying area where I am right now. And I'm going to show you this house because these deals are incredible. You might turn on the media, you might hear all these things about how the economy is, in bad shape and America is in trouble. Look, the rich people don't care. Rich people just care about getting richer. And it doesn't matter if you have $1 million or 100 grand or 50 grand, you can get ahead. I just had a couple fly out to meet me and to see these houses yesterday. And, they're ambitious. They don't have all the money in the world, but they're ambitious and they want to do great things. And here they can do that. Here they can do that. If they're making, hypothetically, as a couple, $100,000, 50 grand each, they could buy a house here and in the course of a year, probably buy 2 more, right? This is where the opportunity is. Look at these homes. Look at this neighborhood, by the way. There's no bars on any of these windows. There's no junk cars that are, out front. These are nice areas. And this is why I relocated here. I relocated here because of the change that America is undergoing right now. I sold my place in Florida. I just traveled the entire country. I don't remember if you saw some of these videos. I was in Nashville, Atlanta. I was in, Austin, Phoenix, Des Moines, Iowa, Detroit, Cincinnati, Columbus. I went to Denver. I went to all these places. I wasn't doing that for YouTube. I was doing that to get enough information to make a smart, well-informed decision of where I should move my family, where the best opportunity is to invest in real estate, and I found it. Ohio. Bank of America, they just did a survey. The top 10 financial institutions in America did a survey of where people are moving. And it was Columbus, Cincinnati, and Cleveland hit the top of that list because of the affordability crisis. Now, who would have thought that, really? Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Not me.
That would be our reality 5 years ago. Nobody. But when you start to look at the writing on the wall, you have retirees that thought, hey, I got 200 grand, 300 grand, I'm fine, I'm making it right through retirement. Then 2020 happened, now they're like, 200 grand, 300 grand, I'll be lucky to make it the next 6-7 years on that money, maybe less than that. So what can I do? Well, sell my home, relocate, move in with family, rent out my property, move to a different country. Like, they don't really have that many options. But moving somewhere affordable probably hits top of that list. You have 35% of Americans working remote right now. They don't need to live in the big city. And big companies, they don't want them to, because they want to cut their costs and they want to shave down office square footage. So as they start cutting costs, they're going to start job outsourcing to South America, to the Philippines, to India. They're going to start sourcing more and more jobs overseas because they can save in a variety of fronts: on the office square footage, on health insurance, on the benefits, on the hourly wages. There's a lot of incentives for them to do that. Then the big push for automation that's going to be coming. So all of these things are what big corporations are looking for. And when you have Americans in 2020, 2021, taking out major mortgages in Florida and Texas, all these areas, thinking, hey, I'm going to be able to make $250,000, $300,000, $400,000 in my Silicon Valley job, and I'm going to live in Boca Raton, well, all of this is going to be a problem for a lot of these people. But for the corporations, they're going to make a fortune. So you just start to look at this big shift of everything that's happening, and you'll realize where the money is going to be made. Money in real estate is going to be made on supporting affordability. Really buying great properties that people can afford to live in and holding them over the long term and riding this inflation wave that's going to be coming. It's free real estate. Like, this is the property here. 3 beds, about 1,300 square feet, and $69,500. Now, I think it's the ugliest house in the street, no doubt. But when this is power washed and it's painted white, nice blue front door, some accent plants along the exterior perimeter, it's going to look stunning. It'll look like the best house on the block, and this will easily rent, in my opinion, for $1,600. Section 8 is quoting $1,710. Now, technically, I own this property, but what's likely going to happen is an investor from singlefamilyinvestors.com is going to take over title of this house, and I won't own this probably next week. Now, what happened here is I had an investor that signed up at singlefamilyinvestors.com, and I looked at one property for him. It needed too much work, and I said, let's pass on this one. And the second property, I'm like, hey, you know what? I can just give you this house. We're under contract now. I'll just assign it over to you. And that ended up not happening. I'm going to show you why. So on the roof, there was a roof leak, and there was a snowstorm, I want to say about a month ago, and this snowstorm brought forward moisture on the drywall and the ceiling. And I told the bank about it and said, hey, look, I want $5,500 off or I'm going to walk away. And the bank gave me, if you can see it right there on that top, there's like a little tarp right on the roof there. And they gave me $5,500 off. And then when I went to try to transfer the title over to the investors, single family investors, they're like, no, we're not doing anything for you. They wouldn't sign the amendment. They wouldn't transfer it over. So I ended up closing, obviously no mortgage. It's like a $70,000 house. I closed it and I said, okay, well, I'll just give you the closing statement, and then you just send me over the proceeds to match the amount that I paid, and you can just take it over. So he's more than likely going to just close on that. But look, that house is conservatively worth $130,000, easily, in my opinion. When you have all these other homes in the neighborhood selling for more, that remodeled, I think it's probably going to be worth 130 plus. So to pick them up for 70 grand, here's how I'm underwriting these deals and why I moved here. Now look at this neighborhood, right? Nice neighborhood. Here's essentially how I underwrite these deals. Now that property, call it, we'll just round down and call it 1,000 square feet for easy math. If it's 150 bucks a foot to build that house, it's 150,000 to build new, right? The land's probably worth, I don't know, 40, 50 grand, right? Call it 200 grand. I think inflation is going to get worse. I think the cost to build these homes will continue to get more and more expensive over the next couple of years. So let's just say inflation continues to rise at the current rate that it has since 2020. That would mean that the cost to build that house would probably be somewhere around 300 grand minimum. So if you're buying it for 70 and a competitor, they'd basically have to spend an extra 220 grand above what you paid, 230 grand above you paid to build a house next door. It's not going to incentivize anyone to build. So instead, it's going to incentivize investors to buy pre-existing housing stock. Now, when you have an inflationary crisis like what we're in right now, hedge funds and investors sitting on tons of money, what are they looking for? They're looking for an inflation hedge. They're looking for financial security. They're looking to make money every single month. And they're looking to have full control, right? Well, when you have these institutions looking for 15, 20% a year returns, they could buy one of these homes in cash and get 20% net annual returns. If they use leverage, they can get 30, 35% annual net returns, right? Where else can they do that? In the real estate market right now. There's nowhere else to do it. So it's an incredible inflation hedge, and I believe it's going to be one that's going to get more and more attention. In 2015, investors bought 7% of homes. 7% of homes in Cleveland. That number jumped to 16% in 2021. And now it's 1 in 5 homes are sold to cash buyers, investors in Cleveland. And in the next couple of years, I promise you, it's going to 30%. It's going to 35%. They're going to continue buying up tons of these properties. Now, when you start to look at the demographics of who lives in Cleveland, the average incomes, you'll start to see one thing very, very clearly. It's a lot of older, nice people that live here, a lot of retirees. So when taxes and insurance goes up, call it 10%, 20%, it might cost them an extra, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 bucks a month. Might not sound like much. It's a lot for a retiree on a fixed income. And so more and more people are going to continue to get kind of forced out of their homes. And these investors are looking for those distressed sellers. And there's going to be a lot of them here, a lot of opportunities. And so, I mean, I just bought a house on the 20th of December for $45,000. So we closed. This property, the lady didn't have $100 to her name. Bought it for 45 grand, basically the price of a Honda, right? A new Honda. And it will rent for probably 1,400 bucks a month after I spent about 15K turning it over, you know, renovations, whatnot. But you start to look at those returns, it's absolutely incredible. So this is what I think the big opportunity is. Buying in really, really, really nice neighborhoods and holding these properties for the long term. I mean, it's pretty incredible kind of what has happened for me here since I moved. I moved here November 1st. I've already technically closed on 5 houses. I bought that retail center under contract on that retail center with the apartment upstairs. We should close on that on the 17th, next Friday. And that is going to be our headquarters. And my goal is to own over 100 houses by the end of the year myself and help investors acquire 200. So if you are an investor, my business model is very, very, very simple. I want to get investors in incredible deals. People that have money, they buy one property, they get a great return. They're not going to stop one property because every month on the first of the month, they'll see the money hit and they'll say, why am I only getting this when I could double down, triple down, you know, buy 4, 5, 10 houses and set myself up for life? Well, the more value they get every deal, the more deals we do, the more money I can make, the more properties I can buy. And so it's very simple. The investors end up making a ton of money. I end up building wealth as well. And it's a win-win mutual relationship that we can benefit from for years and years and years into the future. And so this is what the future of America looks like. Affordability. Solving the affordability crisis, solving this problem that everyone is going through right now with inflation. Inflation is going to continue to erode the purchasing power of dollars over the next 5 years. Look at how expensive everything was in 2020, right? A half of what it is now in most cases. Everything essentially doubled. What do you think is going to happen when the government's sitting on over 35 trillion in debt? They're going to inflate their way out of it. They're going to print more and more and more money. Purchasing power is going to continue to erode. The only thing that's really going to matter are hard real assets. When you're buying homes for 60, 70, 80,000 in safe, nice suburban communities, how do you lose? The average household income here is almost 60,000. It's like 12 to 14 months worth of monthly wages to buy a home in cash. Think about that. That's not going to last. That home for under 200 grand, that's not going to last. It's not. If you're thinking about maybe you have 100K, 200K, 300K or more, and you're thinking, look, I want to invest, I'm not sure what to do, book a call with me, not with anybody else. It'll be with me, and I'll go through everything and show you exactly what I'm doing. And if it makes sense for you, that's great. I'd love to help you. And if it doesn't, that's great. You have more information than you had before the call. And with that new information, you'll be able to maybe change the way in which you look at other deals. So book a call below. That's singlefamilyinvestors.com. That's singlefamilyinvestors.com. Catch you next video.